the costs just keep going and rolling and they don't stop. The true cost of owning a boat. People buy boats and they think, oh, this is going to be great. And then they're like, holy smokes. How about fuel? Marine diesel and Rec 90 gas are like $5 a gallon down here by us. That's a lot. And then there's insurance, taking care of the boat. If you're going to keep the boat in good shape, you have to wash, wax, detail it. Number one, make sure you hire a surveyor, unless it's a new boat, that's different. But hire a surveyor, and also make sure that you get a full engine report from a certified, let's say it's got a Yamaha on it. Make sure you hire a reputable certified Yamaha tech to do the survey. And that's my recommendation. So we are heading to a boat that has a clock issue. And by that, what I mean is the maintenance clock that keeps track of how many hours and what the date is for your engine. He's been trying to reset it and resets it every day, but it always reverts back to 365. So it's really not keeping track like it should. There is a capacitor. It's a 5-week capacitor on the VMM, which is the vessel maintenance module. It's where we hook up to, and that keeps that clock. But if that capacitor is shot, then that's what the problem will be. It could also be that if the engine system is hooked up to the GPS system, that it could be getting the input from the GPS. Also, if you turn the GPS off, that has a internal clock also. So we need to figure out where we're at, what we're doing. The Volvo tech is very interested in this because they've never heard of this happening before. So we're going to see what we can find out. And they've asked me to give them a write-up so they can also keep an eye on, or learn from whatever we find. I've not been on this boat for a while. I'm guessing the hookup is the VMM is up front. The complaint was that this would not count down from 365. It would just, every day would be 365, but you can see it's at 359 now. He also said that these hours weren't counting, but obviously they are. They're 194. There's 498 hours there, 498. So those are all working. Must be a circuit breaker panel around here somewhere. Windshield wipers, washer, batteries, bilge pumps, European. What does that mean? Map? Except for this, maybe? Ah, look at that. So I figured that was a map point like on Google Maps. Now everything's powering up. So let me go back down here, get hooked up to this engine. That thing right there, that's the VMM, and that's the hookup point for the engines. So that's where I'm headed. We're gonna plug into that thing. You can see this little type of right here. Pull that plug out, and we take my plug. There it is. Plug in. We know it's a D4 and it's EVC2. So you see there it says D4, EVC2. You can see it's a 300 horse, so D4, 300 horse. So let's go up here. D4 to D16. We're in neutral, okay. We're in neutral. So it's 10:26, it's the right time. That's on the GPS. So that's GPS time. So 10:26 on 2/7. So now what I'm gonna do here, this is the port drive line we'll select. So that's port engine, we'll select that one. And we'll try this one right here. So now, when I hook up to this, we'll run some digital trouble codes. Okay, so that one didn't trip anything. I'm really trying to find something really easy. Okay, I'm gonna hop over on the other side and pull this right here. That should give me some kind of fuel issue, maybe water and fuel or something. Okay, so I took that off. I think that's a water and fuel sensor. So I heard the helm is beeping, giving me an alarm. Let's see what it says. Electrical failure. All right, my little alarm is on. And we're going to refresh the DTCs. All the electronic items on the system, on both engines, it looks like it's never been updated as far as software and firmware goes. You never ever do software updates to a boat on a Friday because it can go south and you have no support. You could take the boat down for the whole weekend. And I told him, he's like, oh, I'm going to be here for 2 or 3 months. You got plenty of time. Don't worry about it. And the boat's usable right now. But if I do the stuff, it may not be. So I left it alone. So we'll go back. We'll hook the computer back up to the Vodia and we'll start downloading all the software so I have it ahead of time. That's the plan. Okay, going out back, check the crab pot again. I had a nice one in there yesterday. I left him in there to maybe talk to his friends and hopefully bring them in. Self still. Yeah, it's the same one. I think there's a lot of small ones going in there right now.
Day 2.
We'll see. I left the big one in there. We'll see if any of his buddies came, or hers. I don't know if it's a his or her. I'll let you guys know. Whew. Boy, that water is chilly. You can feel it right through these waders. Well, I see one big crab there. That's a male crab. See how he has that little thing right there? That's the male. So he got his big buddy right here. That's a really nice one, boy. That's a jumbo. He's missing a leg right there. It'll grow back, except I'm gonna eat him, so it probably won't grow back. So I'm gonna leave these guys in there. Oh, I got 3. Look at that. Oh, nice. Hey, I got 3 nice ones. You want me to bring them in?
Day 3.
We're going on a road trip tomorrow. Went up to Marathon, worked on a bunch of boats. We actually have so much work, we're gonna spend the night. And then gonna go up to Almirada and maybe do some work up there and spend some time with some friends. I'm gonna get these crabs out of the crab pot first. Miserable weather we're having down here in Key West, like 57 degrees. Of course, the rest of the country, can't vouch for them. I just tell you what I know about here. Let me untie my rope because I'm gonna take this over because I gotta get these crabs out of the pot. You be sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and keep watching. Only 3, we didn't get any more.
Oh, they ate one.
Yep, they either ate one or something else ate it.
Yep.
Come on now.
They got hungry. Oh, he's still alive, it looked like.
Yeah, this one's dead.
Oh.
So you gotta pick them up by one of them back fins right there so they can't get you. Well, I guess that's all I need. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna take this back out. We're here at the Almirada Boat Show. Cold and windy and cloudy, like 60 degrees cold, so it's freezing for us. We're up here doing some work on some boats and spent the night. Came up here to see the boats, spend the night with some friends up in Tavernier, and then we're gonna go home. So a little staycation. But let's take a little walk around and take a look at some things. Hi. Morning.
Well, we're traveling up to Islamorada, I thought, to go to the boat show.
Yeah, and you saw this and said, oh, let's stop. So here we are looking at new boats. We have 2 boats. You need another one?
I need one less.
I'm in no hurry, trust me. We'll keep looking to see what we can find. Look at this big catamaran. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a monster. 43 feet.
Well, I bet you that thing can get in some real skinny water. Wow. Let's talk about a little bit about the costs and maybe some hidden costs or costs that we didn't think about when you're buying a boat. If it's a used boat, are you going to have a survey done? You should always pay for a survey. Trust me. That can come back to haunt you later if you don't do it. The other thing to consider is, where are you going to store the boat? Is it going to be behind your house in a canal? Are you going to keep it at the marina? So there's different types of insurance. If you want to let friends use your boat, that's a different type of insurance. It's more expensive. Then you have maintenance. Like if you have a trailer, then you have to register the trailer and put plates on that. You have to register the boat. Boats always need maintenance, especially in saltwater. And then outfitting your boat, putting all the supplies on it. That can equate to thousands of dollars. I went a little overboard on our whaler, but I wanted to retrofit it, get all new stuff on there. So we spent more than we needed to, but it's just how I wanted to do it. I guess the question becomes, is it cheaper to not have a boat and just pay a guy? So let's say you wanted to go fishing once a week. That's 52 times a year. I know for a fact that our neighbors keep their boat in a dry slip at a marina down the way, and I think it's $1,600 a month just for the slip rent. That's in Key West. It's expensive here. But if you start doing the math, go fishing once a week, which I doubt you would because of the weather and whatnot, and other things come up, and you could book that for a year, and you walk on the boat, you go fishing, and then you walk off and walk away with a bag of clean fish. You don't have to have any tackle. You don't have to have a boat. You don't pay for gas. You don't have to wash for hours after you get back. You don't have to fix anything that gets broken. Something to think about.
You don't have to fix anything?
Nope. Something to think about. Anyways, give me your thoughts and feedback on that. There's been some discussion lately between us, either one, selling both of our boats and just chartering whenever we want to go fishing, or trading them in and upgrading to a bigger boat. We have a Dauntless right now, a Boston Whaler. We've talked about an Outrage Boston Whaler. We've talked about Contenders. My wife likes Yellowfin. And we're talking to our friend up there in Summerland at Real Impact. He's right on US 1. We might move that boat up there and give him it for consignment.
Yeah, so when you own a boat, how often do you recommend it be washed or detailed?
So let me tell you a little background. So out here in the saltwater, we use a lot of chum, and it's ground up fish whatever. And it's all little tiny pieces. And sometimes when you catch a fish that's been in your chum slick behind the boat, they flop and they sling that chum all over your boat. Well, that stuff dries, and it dries super hard, and it super sticks to the boat. So really, you need to clean the boat after every trip. And actually, I'm kind of anal because I know how hard it is to get the chum off. I'll clean the boat while we're fishing. I'll set a rod out with a big bait or something, looking for a big grouper, and I'll just start scrubbing the boat using the onboard wash down to get that chum off of there. I know that our whaler could use a good detail. We just haven't had time, and our detailer guy that we like to use hasn't had time.
A couple times a year or what for detailing?
Yeah, at least, yeah. You should wash it every use, and then you should wax it probably a couple times a year. Yep. So first off, if somebody asks you to do a survey, the only people that can do that is a marine survey person that's rated for that. If you're not a marine surveyor, you shouldn't be advertising saying, oh, I do surveys. No, you have to be a surveyor in order to do a survey. If you're doing an inspection on a boat, it's called a pre-purchase inspection. So like next week, we're going up the Keys to do a pre-purchase inspection on a boat that a guy wants to buy. He's not here, he's never seen the boat, but we're gonna be his eyes and ears on the boat. I've told him, I said, I'm not a surveyor. I don't do surveys. I said, I'll look at the boat, I'll give you my opinion on the boat, and that's what it is, it's my opinion. So I'm gonna go up there, we're gonna take video, we're gonna take photos, I'm gonna climb all over the boat probably for 2 hours. When you're doing a pre-purchase inspection or a survey, and an engine survey is separate. Let's say you had a Yamaha outboard on there. You really need to hire a Yamaha mechanic to come do the inspection on that. Do you want a compression check? Do you want oil samples? Do you want to drain some of the lower unit fluid out to check the quality of the oil, see if there's any water in it? Do you want to do a fuel sample? You know, all that kind of stuff should be done by the engine person. They can work in coordination with a surveyor, which is a great way to do it. I've done it that way before. We've been paid to come by a surveyor and say, hey, I need a Volvo inspection. You're a Volvo dealer. So that's what we do. We come and do a Volvo inspection service protocol for doing an inspection on an engine. We do that service inspection and we give the results to the surveyor and we get paid. That's a great way to do it. That's how you really should do it. I've seen it before several times over the years, maybe more than several times. I've asked people, did you have a survey done before you bought this boat? And they're like, oh no, we didn't think we needed to. Oh boy. Once you do that, you're done. You have no recourse. There's nothing to go back to. If there's a warranty problem and the owner says, no, I'm not going to help you or whatever, there's no recourse on that. That's why I always tell people, usually the first time when they say, hey, I just bought this boat, one of my first questions is, did you have a full survey done? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. And usually when it's no, then I know there's going to be problems. We always recommend a survey be done when a boat is changing hands. For sure, because it's protection for both the seller and the buyer. So let's discuss mainly fuel costs on a boat. Diesel, marine grade diesel, and Rec 90 gas, which is ethanol-free fuel, which is what you really should be using in your outboard engines, costs around $5 a gallon where we're at. That's something to consider if you have like on our whaler, the fuel tank's 85 gallons. So what's 85 gallons times 5? Adds up quick. The costs just keep going and rolling and they don't stop. Make sure you guys are thinking about if you're going to buy a boat.
So Matt had Mel servicing the forklift. We have a little bit of a spill. You see all that oil? Kind of reminds me of that spill that Matt had at his brother's house when they were changing the oil or something on the four-wheeler. It's going to need to be cleaned up. Well, we can't clean it up though until we get this thing put back together. Mel says that the oil catcher couldn't keep up with all the oil. Wonder if Matt will notice that we have a mess under there tomorrow. Good luck to Mel, who's going to have to clean it up. So I want to show you the cleanup after the oil spill. In Mel's defense, he did a great job cleaning up underneath the forklift after the oil spill.
All right, Chris, what are we getting up to today?
We're down here at Ocean's Edge with all the charter boats. Gonna do a little exploratory into the raw water system of a D4. The owner stated that port side is running a little hotter under load than the starboard side. He's never had any overheat alarms, but he did have a high temperature water or exhaust water high temp, which is more than normal. We're just gonna go through and just double check to see why that portside engine is running a little hotter. Just verify some numbers just to make sure running within its normal tolerance. and make sure that he doesn't have a clogged or a compromised impeller. Make sure that there's no restriction on his raw water side. So that's where we're going to now. We had an issue with the port side, a little bit hotter than the starboard side, under about 75 or 80% load. So we just came to inspect the raw water system, and AJ is diligently and tightly over there inspecting it, and he found that there was only 4 blades left on the impeller. So our next step is we're going to pop that out, order a new one for the owner. While we're in there, before we get the new one in, we're going to go fish out all of the broken blades, because most likely they got sucked into the raw water system and are creating a blockage somewhere. So moving forward. So we are removing the water pump. We found a couple of impeller fins missing.
So yeah, on this impeller there was only like 4 fins left.
The impeller doesn't have that many hours on it, but talking to the owner and finding the history, I think and because we tried to pull the impeller out, it was not an original Volvo Penta impeller. Original pump had a leak, and the owner sent it off to get rebuilt. So we are going to put the original pump back in with a new impeller. So that is why we're taking this pump out.
All right, so here's the condition of the old one. Only got 4 fins left.
Yep.
And it's an aftermarket pump.
Yeah, and take a look. You can see, if you look back at the pump, you can actually see where it already started to fail.
Yeah. Right here. You can see a little green salt buildup right there.
And then there was a bunch of green and salt buildup down here.
So it's definitely time for this thing to get replaced.
And the lesson that we learned today is use the original manufactured part.
Don't go aftermarket.
Don't go aftermarket.
So to give you a little rundown of what Chris is doing over there, he is draining the water from the low end of the heat exchanger right now. So when we pop up that face right over there and take off one of those oil filters to get to that face, no water goes running into the oil. All right, so Chris got the plate off the heat exchanger off.
Well, and
What'd you find?
I'll hand that to you.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There's all of the shavings.
Some fins. The fins that we've been missing.
You can see where it blocks. It'll create a blockage. Right there. All that crap. When your engine really needs its cooling under a heavy load, that's when it messes up.
So you're looking mighty comfortable.
Oh yeah, always.
Always, okay, yeah. That's what we got going on.
Right now I got a socket. It's stuck. Okay.
New water pumps in.
New water pump is in. Oh, but one hose is reconnected. Now I just gotta put the belts back on. It's our tensioner right there, full mechanical tensioner.
Then we got to put the cowling back on as well.
Well, I'm gonna save the cowling for the last after we run it, just so we can see if there's any leaks or anything. See things moving. Because we'll just run it real quick before it gets up to temp. Make sure that there's no immediate leaks. And then we're getting good discharge overboard. Then we'll throw the cowling back on, run the engine up to temp. And while it's running up to temp, we'll hook up the Vodia so we can lock some parameters and get a good baseline. Firing it up.
Is water flowing? You good? Just doing a quick check, make sure there's no leaks, making sure all of our work is good to go. Alright, so right now we're just in Vodia going through all the parameters, checking coolant temperature, oil temperature, all that good stuff. Running the engine, letting it idle, running it up to about 2 grand, seeing how everything reacts, and just double checking our work, making sure nothing's leaking, nothing like that. So Vodia literally tells you everything that you need to know. It's actually very, very nice.
It's 24 hours later, so I checked it yesterday morning. I had 2 cans of cat food in there from the day before, and I put a chicken leg in there. There was 2 crabs in it, so let's go see what's happening. There's a little baby crab in there. Shell, I don't know. Something must have ate them. I guess I could take them out. They're not the biggest ones, or I could leave them in. What should I do? Take them out or leave them in? So I don't know how you measure them, but that's 6 inches.
Yep, and look, somebody got 8, it looks like.
Yeah.
Second one is about 5, it looked like.
He's a little smaller, yeah. About 5.5 maybe. Yeah. So I got 2 half-empty cans of cat food, and I got a piece of pork skin.
from pork belly, right?
Yeah, we took the skin off.
You want these little chicken scraps?
It's pork, it's chicken.
Oh, okay.
And then what about this? All right, well, there's a whole bunch of food in there now.
Matt was thinking that maybe the sharks have been getting his crabs.
Had that problem before where the nurse sharks come and they do water jets and they suck so hard that they'll bend the trap up and they'll get all the crabs out of it. So let's go put this guy back.